Hi, it's Bill here with Immaculate Paint Protection. I'm standing in front of a 2021 Ford F-150. It came back to us about a year and a half ago. We did a full ceramic coating on this truck. Unfortunately, the owner hit a deer. It's been to the body shop, so the front end had to, full front end was redone on it. New bumper, new grille, new hood, new fenders. Body shop did real nice work. We waited 30 days. Because the ceramic coating was done by a professional shop at Immaculate Paint Protection and it had a warranty on it, insurance will cover the ceramic coating on that. So owner came back because he was happy with it the first time. So today, right now we're at the wash process. So we're gonna kind of step you through and show you everything we do to wash these trucks up the proper and safe way. If you have a black truck, you know two things. You know they look amazing when they're washed up, and you know it's almost a full-time job keeping them clean. The other thing about the black is is a little more sensitive to the swirls and the marring in that. It's not that they get swirled up more than a white, it's just because of the way the sunlight reflects off of black, it will show the swirls more. So we're going to show you all our safe methods here. We'll show you the tools, we'll show you the process, we'll show you how we safely wash these vehicles. I mean, these are all tips and tricks that you can pick up, and you can do this at home when you're washing your truck. The majority of the paint damage we always see is coming from the wash process. So how does that happen? Well, it can happen at the car wash with the big nasty brushes. Those brushes will swirl up, scratch up the paint. Those brushes aren't bad themselves, but those brushes get a bunch of dirt, bunch of contaminant on there, and then that media is coming down and slapping the side of this truck, marring and scratching up. So always avoid an automatic car wash. Letting the dealership wash your car or truck. So if the dealership washes your truck, they may take it through an automated car wash, or they got some guy in the back that, you know, quite frankly, he doesn't care about the vehicles the way we do or the way you will if it's your brand new truck. You know, the guy may do something stupid like drop the washman on the ground a couple times, pick it up, and then scratch your vehicle. They're not gonna say anything to you about it. The other areas we see paint damage on, we're here in the Northeast, so if you're in a state that it's with snow and salt, when the snow gets on there, watch the type of brush you're using. So here's a video here to check out how to safely remove snow from your truck so you don't scratch it up. Make sure you get the right tools on that. Those are just the high-level tips of what you need. And then as far as the tools and the techniques, that's also important too. So let's just dive right into it and we'll get going through our process here. Okay, so the very first thing we're gonna do is, I know we're washing the exterior of the vehicle, but we need to, while we're here, he has the WeatherTech or rubberized floor mats in here. So let's pull them out. Let's get them washed up for the gentleman now. Okay. At this point, we're going to use Gyeon tire cleaner. So rubber tires, Gyeon tire cleaner, rubber floor mats. So we'll just spray some of this on. I'm gonna use the stiff bristle brush that we use for the tires. We're gonna start and do this first, right? You wanna do this at the beginning of the process. That way, this wash bucket for the tire tools, it's all clean water. So, I mean, we don't wanna, you'll see the wash bucket when we get done washing all these tires. It's gonna be super dirty, so we don't wanna introduce all that dirt onto this here. Let that set up a little bit. Just have Gyeon foam in here. Here's a little bit of a pro tip with this. Always want to make sure you rinse off the back end really well. So this is nice and clean. That's just clean rinse water. You don't want the soapy residue to dry and get the residue to dry and get transferred into the carpets there. So I took them to the other side of the shop where they won't get wet when we wash. And the one thing I like to do there is I like to turn the wash mats upside down so the water obviously drains out of them. Let it dry, and then hopefully it doesn't water spot up on the inside of the floor mat. We want to start with the wheels and tires first for the obvious reason. The wheels and the tires should be the dirtiest parts on this truck, right? So we want to get all the dirt, get that clean. That way, if we are splashing dirt, well, we're splashing it up on here, this is dirty, it's gonna get washed down again. So we're not backtracking on our work. That's why we wash the wheels and the tires first. So how do we go about washing the wheels and tires? Well, first thing we do, talk about our cleaning products. We're gonna use Gyeon wheel cleaner. It's great, it has an iron removing product in it. So some of the best wheel and tire cleaner we found. And then we're gonna use the Gyeon tire cleaner. The tire cleaner goes in the black rubber there. So first thing we do is we're gonna spray the product on here. Making sure to get into the kind of the nooks and the crannies. Then we'll spray into the wheel barrels. When there's a bunch of iron on these vehicles, you'll see it'll go purple. That's just a chemical reaction of removing the iron. Now we're gonna spray the tires. And we'll let that soak in. Okay. So first thing we're gonna grab, we're gonna go for boar's hair brush. Real nice soft boar's hair brush. So it's gonna protect your nice expensive rims. We're gonna wash the wheel face inside here. I like to start at the bottom and go counterclockwise. That way if I stop someplace, I always know where I'm at. And I just avoid the opportunity of missing a section of the rim, of the wheel. Now we're gonna grab our lug nut brush, come and go and get the lug nuts. So we're gonna use the lug nut brush to grab everything else too that's kind of small and tight that big boar's hair brush won't get. Okay, so now there we go. Now let's go inside and get the barrel. We're gonna use our barrel brush. It's gonna go inside this. So the barrels is really, that's the trick. That's the difference between having a so-so looking wheel versus an amazing looking wheel. Get in there, push it in. We'll just knock off any of the big nasty stuff in here. Find our tire brush in here. Okay, we're gonna rinse the tire. One more time with the tire cleaner. I want to see that white lathery foam. So if it looks like it's creamed coffee, it means you got to keep scrubbing. So we should be good at this point here. We just got all the wheels, all the tires washed up. We washed them up, moved the truck forward to rotate the wheels and the tires 180 degrees. Saw a couple spots, went through, got them cleaned up. On the Gyeon wheel cleaner, there's an iron removing product. So the result of that is there's some purple on the floor. So that means those wheels are really, really clean right now. I'm happy with them. We can put a ceramic coating on them, everything's just fine. What we need to do now is we need to get some of the embedded contaminants off the vehicle. So there's some road tar on this truck, obviously, because it's been up and down the highway. So for road tar, we use Gyeon tar. Tar is the asphalt, macadam, heavy oils, greases. Gyeon tar will help get it on. Gyeon tar is also a great It's always nice to have some GR and tar on hand. Come right before back to school season in the fall time when they start painting all the road lines down. If you ever run across the painted road, the road lines, and you get that paint up on the truck, get Gyeon tar on it, let it soak up, get that paint off as soon as possible. That'll do it. We save some people on that. The next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna use Gyeon bug and grime. So right now it's the winter time, so the bugs are all dead, but I'm gonna go ahead and inspect. If there's any bug spots, we'll spray the bug on there. This stuff, we'll let this set up 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll get into our foam cannon process. I know the truck is still super dirty, right? So at this point, I don't want to be touching any of these panels. Never touch a dirty vehicle. That's when you're gonna scratch it. But we're just gonna spray this on here. I see some gook there, gunk there. It's all coming up, right? This front wheel's kicking all that up. It's gonna be tough to see in a black truck, so let's just spray this area down. Come in the fender well, right in here in these lips. Inner fender well. You may be tempted to, just don't touch the paint at this point. Just let Gyeon tar do its magic. This could take 1 to 2 applications, just depending on where the vehicle's been, how dirty it is. So you got to do it at least once, and we're there. Bug and grime on the front end here. I'm not seeing. The tip with the bug splatter is that can really do a bunch of damage to the vehicle. The bugs have some acids in them that it can get in there. They bake on, they heat on. That acid will come in, etch the paint out. So just, if you got a bunch of bugs on there, get it off the vehicle as soon as possible is my recommendation. We're ready to start washing the body down, but as we talked about, this is probably one of the best examples I've ever seen. So this is why this step is really important. All this grime, all this dirt, we need to get this off the vehicle before we even come close to touching it. So how are we gonna do that? Well, we're gonna foam the vehicle up first. So the foam's gonna go on there. We're gonna use appropriately named Gyeon foam. So foam, Gyeon foam, real simple to remember. We're gonna get the foam on there. The foam, the soap is gonna get in there, bond it on contaminants, loosen them up, then we'll rinse it down. When we rinse it down, we're getting all that grime off the vehicle. That grime is what's gonna scratch the vehicle if we keep rubbing on it. So we wanna get the vehicle super, super clean before we even touch it with a wash mitt. Then when we touch it with a wash mitt, we even got a couple layers of protection into the process there to stop the swirls and the scratches. So if you've seen the big foamy pictures that are fun on Instagram, which is awesome, we're using a foam cannon and a pressure washer. That's how we do it here in the shop. Pressure washer's awesome, foam cannon's awesome, real fun time to do. I get it, not everybody is gonna spend $2,000 or $1,500 on a rig or $500 on that. So you can still do it. So real simple, here's a $3 sprayer that we got at the big box store. Has Gyeon foam mixed up into with water, so we can just spray it on by hand. The next step up, a little more economical version would be, this is a foaming sprayer. So I'll show you. So this is just brute force and ignorance here, how we're gonna take care of this problem. We'll pump this up, pump it up, oops, spray mat, and just spray it on. Now, doesn't have the big foam on there, soap's on the vehicle, that's what's important right there. So you're not gonna brag to your friends on the Instagram about this, but other way to do it is so it's working, it's effective. Spray it on there. Just okay. Or let's go have some fun. Little pro tip here. If you're ever using, when you're changing out connections on your pressure washer rig, on the gun, simple quick connect, pulls in, pulls out, right? Well, let's test that this connection works by spraying away from the vehicle, right? So if this connection is loose and this foam cannon is gonna go flying, I want it to fly and hit my wall or hit the ground, right? I don't want it to fly and hit this gentleman's truck, right? That's a bad, bad day. So, all right, so the connection's good. Change the foam pattern, let's go foam. Okay, so at this point, we're just gonna let the foam work. The foam's on there. It's gonna get the grime, the dirt. It's gonna help clean it off. So it's gonna help release it from the paint. Switch over to the rinse wand here. Change my connection. Test my connection away. We're good. So at this point, once it starts breaking up like this, we're probably good to start rinsing it off. So at this point, what we're doing, we're using the pressure from the pressure washer, the force of the water to clean and wash the truck, right? So that way it won't scratch up or swirl up or mar up the paint. So we'll start the back and work our way around to the front. Rims, tires, wheels, tires. F-150, those are clean. Gyeon bug and grime, got a couple of bug spots off. Gyeon tar, rocker panels, got the tar off the vehicle. The tar is to smudge the grease that comes up off the road. Foam cannon, so we got all the big nasty pieces of debris and grit and grime that's gonna scratch up the vehicle if we don't take care of that. Got that off. Vehicle's still wet, so there may be some soap suds on there. We don't need to get it completely off. Or inside, it's okay. If you're outside, that's fine too. Just don't do it in the sun. Don't let it dry off at this point. So everything's off. Even though it's wet, it's okay. We're gonna apply Gyeon iron now at this point. So this is something you're gonna do once or twice a year based upon your wood. So iron comes from the ferrous metal in the brake rotors, kicks off that way. Iron gets on the ground, comes up. If you live by a rail yard, if you live in areas with industrial fallout, so we're gonna put the iron on there. It's gonna come down. It's gonna get into the clear coat. It's gonna take the iron spots out. Sometimes on a white vehicle, you'll think there's rust on the vehicle. It's just the iron coming in. So we're just gonna spray this on. Spray it on. We're gonna let it set up 4 to 5 minutes. Do what's saying. What we will see is we'll see a bunch of purple rolling onto the floor. We always do this process pretty much in every vehicle. We do this in every vehicle we wash in Immaculate Paint Protection because we're putting a ceramic coating or a paint protection film on, and that's the kind of the one and only time you have the chance to get it done. So we've just let the Gyeon iron set up for about 3 to 5 minutes. At this point, I'm just gonna quickly, lightly rinse it off. Then we'll get into the 2-bucket contact method wash. Your neighbors, your friends, they don't know this. You know this now. So the 2-bucket method wash is exactly what it sounds like. It's 2 buckets. Got a 6-gallon bucket here. 6-gallon buckets, so we put about 5 gallons in, so when we're dunking, we're not splashing our toes. The red bucket is just rinse water, all right? So what we're doing here, it's rinse water. There's a couple grit guards in the bottom of each one of these. So what are we trying to do and accomplish here? We're trying to, essentially, we want to wash we want to continually wash this wash mitt out. So if it does pick up any grit, any grime, any sand, we don't want to keep smearing that over the vehicle and potentially damaging the paint. So this is what's gonna get this vehicle super clean. So rinse water, we go in, we dunk it 3 times. We're gonna wring it out. And then there's our soap solution. Make sure we have Gyeon Bathe in here today. So we're using our Gyeon Bathe. And then we're gonna take it to the vehicle. I have two big wash mitts. The reason to have 2 is it's faster for me. The other important reason to have two wash mitts is, I mean, I'm a professional and it still happens. If I drop anything, the rule in the shop is if anything drops the floor, we pick it up, we set it to the side, it's not gonna touch a vehicle. It goes home, it gets washed out. Then I also have a cuffed wash mitt. This is perfectly safe for the body panel, but I like the cuff mitt because it's smaller. I'm gonna use this at the very end of the 2 bucket method wash process. I'm gonna use this in the door jambs and on the rockers and along this step here, because those are the areas that have the highest contamination. So I'm gonna wanna wash those at the very end, because if I do pick up any grit, any grime, I don't wanna smear it all over the hood and scratch the hood up. So we'll start at the back and we'll start washing. I'm gonna go side to side, do a 50% overlap. So I'll come down, over, wipe in the same area. I'm not grinding, pushing as hard as I can. Just light pressure, just enough to do it. If I have to push and force and grind on this and really put a lot of elbow grease into it, one, I'm gonna damage the paint, but more importantly, there's something wrong. So at that point, I need to stop, get a different chemical in. The paint's dull, that's because they were using the wrong technique and the wrong product. Let's go up and do the roof now. Flip it up and down. Here's a little tip. When I get in these window areas like this, you'll see like soap, or you'll see dirt sometimes. So I'll get my hands, I'll get into the corner, I'll either take my index or my middle finger, I'll kind of point in there, and then I can just kind of get my finger in there and essentially kind of go around and paint these edges. I found that to work. Okay. Red bucket, rinse bucket's soapy now. 2, 3. We got a grit guard in here, you can't see it, or a washboard. I'm washing it against there. Let's dilute that. So let's come in there, let's do this. While I'm down here, right here, it's a relief or an outlet. They put this relief in the stamping, the door. So if there's any water that runs down here, it's going to come out of here. So I always just double check when I'm in here. Let's make sure that those are open. If they're full of debris, let's clean them out. If they're full of debris, it'll plug up. The water will sit in here, and that's why some of these doors will start rusting out the bottom there. And there's another vent right there. Vent, relief, outlet. So just make sure those are clean on these Fords. everything's washed up, 2-bucket method wash. Kept going into the red bucket after I like to do a paint all the time, go into the red bucket, wash out the wash mitt, get into the green bucket with the soap mixture, and keep moving on. Now we're gonna rinse the vehicle off really well, and then we'll dry it off. So we're ready to dry the vehicle off now. We're gonna use the Gyeon silk dryer at this point. It's a nice towel. We got a couple of them out here. We'll use at least 2 to dry this truck off. Again, having 2 towels is always nice. If we drop one, we're gonna set it off the side. We're not gonna touch it on the truck. It has what they call this, the nap, the fuzzies, or not fuzzies, how it's knitted, sticking up. So that's the side we're gonna throw down and dry it off. Again, I don't want to be grinding or pushing or a lot of force on this. We don't need to put towel marks, love marks, we call them on there. So we're just going to simply throw it on the truck, drag it off. A little pressure in there, we'll dry it. We have a set of black towels here, and black because black looks cool. But these are dedicated for the wheels and the door jambs. Let's re-emphasize the point. Door jambs, lower rockers, wheels and tires, that's gonna be the most dirtiest areas in the car, so we don't wanna cross-contaminate. I don't wanna take the towel that was already in the paint and come and touch the wheel. So we're just gonna dry the wheels off. Come and get these running boards here. Open the door jamb, open the door, wipe out the door jamb. These vents are clear right now, that's good. Okay, truck's clean.